Well, welcome all. How are you? Welcome to this Think Health series, number 2. My name's Richard Cameron, also known as whatever it is, Coach Richard. And I am my pleasure and just honored to be able to bring you another in the series of real stories from real people overcoming real things. You know, today we're always inundated with everybody's got the latest, greatest thing, magic pill, magic potion, magic system, magic stuff, right? And maybe sometimes we just need to have a little clarification from real people, the things that they've gone through and the things that they've experienced. Last week, 2 weeks ago, if you were on here, you met James Wilbur, who overcame Raynaud's syndrome. He's fully functional in his work as an iron worker, overcame a debilitating virus that swept through certain portions of Ontario. This is several years ago. I know we didn't hear much about it, but the only person that he knows of and that I'm aware of that actually survived with all their organs intact, and today leads a crew of men half his age as an iron worker across Ontario on the highways and byways of building bridges and that sort of thing. So today, it's my pleasure to bring to you an outstanding individual I met some years ago. Her name is Angela Middaugh. Angela has a story to tell you about her journey from, I almost call it a state of like, how am I ever going to get through my entire life with a sense of respiratory reprieve, to living in a state of vigor and vitality. And you know what? In the meantime, she was also a high caliber, nationally ranked Olympic hopeful as a heptathlete. And I'm going to let her tell you what being a heptathlete's about, but what I know of coaching track athletes, it's probably the toughest sport in track and field. It's a 2-day event of multi-disciplines. So let me bring you Angela. And here she is. Angela,
Hi,
welcome,
Richard.
welcome.
Can you
Great
hear
you
me
could
okay?
make it. First of all, I want to thank you for carving some time out today for us. I know your schedule is busy and the things that go on in your life, but you know what? Your story deserves to be heard by people far and wide, both tonight or perhaps sometime in the future, maybe next month, next week, tomorrow, or it's next year or the year after that, because this will be a permanent record. So thank you for coming and welcome. So, Ange, you're the person who's going to be, speaking here tonight and such, but I do want you to share with people a little bit of your early athletic endeavors, because track and field is not hockey in Canada, it's not baseball in Canada, it's not basketball in Canada, but it is a global event that what you participated in is, man, one of the toughest events I know of in the Olympic venue. So take it away, please. Let us know what that's all about.
It's been a while since that's a lifetime ago that I was a heptathlete, but it's 7 events in track and field: high jump, long jump, hurdles, shot put, javelin, 200 meters, 800 meters, and I always described it. I was pretty good in high jump, long jump, hurdles, and then all of a sudden there was a pentathlon, and we added the shot put and 800 meters, and it is, like you say, a 2-day event. It's grueling. I always said I was the jack of all trades, master of none, and so therefore I was good heptathlete because I could do a little bit of everything. So in that, I went to University of Toronto because all the national and Olympic coaches were there, and my goal was to be an Olympian. And Andy Higgins approached me in the early 80s or late 70s and said, "We want you to come to U of T." I had the same build as all the heptathletes. I looked like a heptathlete, but I remember going and working out, and I was very embarrassed that I was an asthmatic. And I didn't want to tell him that I was an asthmatic because I thought that made me weak and that I couldn't keep up. And we were doing 400 repeats. So you run once around the track, you'd have a rest, you'd run through. Those are 400 repeats. And I was just gasping for air. Because now I'm with the Olympians. I'm training at a higher level. I'm not Angela from Englehart winning everything. I'm with the really great athletes pushing me to my limit. And he pulled me aside and he said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, I'm an asthmatic and I do need more time in between these 400 repeats because I can't breathe and I have to warm up slower. So I always had to show up to practice about 30 minutes early and warm up and get ready before even everybody came to do warm ups so that I could get my body primed to work out." As a child, I every birthday party, every sleepover, I'd either get sent home or my parents would have to come and get me because I'd have an asthma attack because people had pets. So I was an asthmatic. I don't like that. I don't like saying it, and it was a struggle. And so you live with it, but you learn how to work with it. So
Mm.
I meet you, and you say, "Hey." I remember the day I met you. I was just sitting on the edge of my car. I was
Now
ready to leave.
that was years after your competitive
Oh
days,
yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I trained hard, probably 7 years as a heptathlete, um, 6 days a week. Uh, my grade 13 year, I missed every Friday because we would go down to Toronto at York University to compete, and yeah, it was a lot of hard work, and I got injured a lot, and I never could figure that out, and I never made the 8-8 team, and my heart was broken, and I thought I was a failure, but looking back at it, I worked hard, and I was ranked nationally, so it's pretty good. So then,
Yeah.
fast forward, I became a teacher for 27 years and only got to teach phys ed 7 of those and coach track for 21. And here we are.
Yeah.
I'm retired now, so I don't
J-
have
And you retired what, a year ago, thereabouts, year and a half ago?
2 years. It'll be 2 years, June 30th.
Okay, 2 years ago, June 30th. Yeah.
Mhm.
But when I met you, I'll remember it to this day, Angela.
I
I
do too.
was coming off a trail run on Red Hill Park trails before I
Mhm.
think the Red Hill Parkway was open.
Yes.
And I was running up these trails, and I know I came up there and just probably a pair of shorts and running shoes,
Oh, I'm like, who is this idiot approaching me?
and sweating like mad. And here you were sitting outside the side of your car with a big OPP t-shirt on,
Yeah,
looking up some papers.
yeah.
And I figured OPP sitting outside looking at the car, papers, you're a police officer looking for a man who's just in a pair of shorts running through the trails of Hamilton.
Yeah.
So how long ago was that, Angela?
That was 14 years ago next month.
Wow. Is that right? 14 months ago. Holy smokes. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's then carry on. So you were a teacher in Hamilton at the time,
Yeah, I taught there for 14 years.
14 years, and you had come from Englehart, which is an amazing little town in the middle of like the bush that suddenly farm country opens up to, right? Kind of a Northern Ontario gal. I know. There we
Little
go.
one with a big heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you ended your career in what town?
Uxbridge.
Uxbridge. That's right. And you live today on the bottom of Lake Simcoe at Jackson's Point, right?
Yeah, just outside. Yeah, 10
Yeah.
minutes from there.
But when I met you, I introduced you to some products,
Hmm.
right? And I introduced you to some products because you had indicated that maybe you had a bit of a problem. You weren't really forthcoming with it 100%, right? That's natural. That's normal. It's like, I'm challenged a little bit. What can you help me with? And that sort of thing. So maybe you could describe that sort of pathway that you took.
Sure. I have like two major stories about this. So 14 years in Hamilton and then 13 years in Uxbridge. My first 14 years of teaching, I would get sicker than a dog at least 3 times a year, at least. And
Wow.
because I was an asthmatic. I am an asthmatic. Um, I would get horrendous bronchial infections. So my lungs were weak. And when I got sick, I would either get bronchitis, pneumonia, or a flu. And it would knock me out. Like I would be out for a week, like 5 days. Um, And that would happen at least 3 times a year for 14 years. I just never had a strong immune system. I always, if something was going around, I would get it. And I don't know. I was just, I was fit and I was active, but I was never, I always got colds and flus and bronchitis. So I meet you, and I had known a bit about supplementation and probably dabbled in it. And I remember you gave me some wonderful reading material, because back then you would hand things out, and I thought, wow, this looks interesting. It's what I would like to be able to be stronger and healthier. And so, fast forward the last 13 years of my teaching career, I think on one hand I can count times I was sick.
Wow.
And I mean, if I got a cold, and I don't consider that really sick, it might only last 2 or 3 days instead of 10 days. When I got the flu, I think maybe 3 days feeling like crap, but the rest of the time able to function. And what was the difference? Well, high quality supplementation. Um, Building my immune system up. And I mean, I was in a cesspool of germs. Like you're in a school with crappy ventilation with 1,500 kids, and they come to school sick, and then you're touching things, and I would get sick. But my years in Uxbridge, I was a lot healthier than my years in Hamilton. So I'm looking at before and after. Is it a coincidence? I think not with the science backed up. But my asthma is really triggered by my allergies. And I was allergic to everything as a kid. Anything that walked other than human beings, anything that had 4 legs, called pets. I was allergic, and I love animals. And
Like
so,
dogs and cats
dogs,
and
cats, horses,
horses. Yeah.
go to farm. It's not a nice sight. Like it was swollen
Like this.
eyes, dripping, and you can live with that, right? Except that everybody's teasing you, and then it's like, what's that sound? It sounds like a cat meowing. No, that's me trying to breathe. Um,
Wow.
oh yeah, it just, and that happened all the time. Like I'd come in from recess, and I'd be sitting in class, having to gasp for air. It was, I look back and I can't. I was kind of a sickly kid, but it never slowed me down. But I just was always knocked down and had to get back up. And so I would say that combination of proflavanol, grapeseed extract, high quality, and a vitamin C working together. I started taking that with other vitamins and minerals. And I went to a staff party, and the gal putting it on had at least 2 cats that I saw. And everybody's like, well, here comes Middaugh. You'll do your hour little visit, and then you'll have to leave. And I said, well, no. I said, I'm really feeling good. I think I'm going to stay for a few hours. Didn't get wheezy, didn't have to leave. And everybody's like, well, that's really neat. Yeah, I said, well, great visit. So fast forward, um, I always do experiments on myself, and I'm a skeptic. I don't believe everything. And so I thought, really, that couldn't have, I'm just healthy now. I don't need this. So I stopped taking that product, and there was another staff function hosted by the same person. Went back. Within an hour, I'm like, oh, I have to leave. And they said to me, well, you told us you're on these great products, and that you don't have, like, you hardly have any allergies anymore, and that things are under control. I said, well, isn't that interesting? I stopped taking those. And I was right back to, like the kids used to call me asthmataz when I was a kid. I'm like, um, and I realized, holy crap, just by providing your body with high quality, good supplementation to build up our basic unit, our cell, made a big difference in my life.
Yeah.
Big difference. Like I feel good. I'm aging well, I think, and that's my story in a nutshell, Richard.
Well, that's interesting. So that's a particular product that's called proflavanol C, and it comes in two different strengths. We know that 100 and 200. And I think when you first started, 100 was the only one that was available, right? So you're probably taking twice as much as you need to take today with the 200, right?
Right.
But it is interesting because what they discovered with that was the particular extracts that are put together in combination with this particular kind of vitamin C. They did a study. I don't know if you know this, but for the folks that are on here, they did a study out at University of Boston. They did this study for looking at its implications for both cardiovascular challenged folks, which includes diabetics, to see how it helped with peripheral vascularization. In other words, just to open up the blood vessels, those mini micro blood vessels at the ends of things. Because, diabetics get into problem with neuropathy and, terrible things happen with their eyes and their limbs and those sorts of things. And what they discovered in this whole thing with this particular product, unlike anything, only one they could find, it could actually open up the microcapillaries and increase then the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, which is the essence of life. And that's what they discovered in this. And the papers are written on it, and it's all in these medical journals or papers, and peer-reviewed articles and stuff. But it was a great clinical study. And I suspect it has something to do with what you were dealing with as well, too. That increasing kind of what we'll call the optimal immune, response. We get this confused immune system sometimes that takes place, and people respond to things that they probably shouldn't be hyper responding to,
Right.
like dander and things and stuff like that. So this proflavanol product from USANA is, I use it with athletes as I continue to train a lot of high caliber athletes, and in fact more athletes, and I think you shared that with me not too long ago. More athletes around the world, professional Olympic athletes, use the USANA products than any other on the planet. And why do they do it? Because their bodies are their business.
Yeah. Well, I think that was one of the reasons why I was so intrigued with this product, because looking at all the professional and Olympians, that I do believe that if this was available to me back in the 80s, I would have gone to the next step, or would have been because I wouldn't have got sick as much. I would have recovered quicker from injuries. I just didn't have it. Like I did well considering with the body that I was given, I guess, when I look at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I love the fact, like when was Sochi Olympics? 2014.
Yeah.
If all those athletes were on a team, did they not come in second place overall? Is that?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
I love that.
And back in BC too in 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah, if you took all the athletes that were on the products, that USANA would have been at the top of the podium.
Yeah.
If they were a country.
If it was a country.
If they were, because people in Japan and Korea and China and Canada and the US and just all over the place, right? Europe. I mean, it's they just know. But interesting, as you've continued down this path, you've also continued down the path of helping people with what I call their metabolic wellness. And maybe you could share a couple of things from that, Angela.
Well, I find I think as I age, and as we all age, there's so many people that say to me, well, it's only normal that I gain weight when I get older. It's only normal that I feel like this because I'm aging. And I don't believe that. Like, I do believe we can take steps to minimize it, slow it down. And there's so many people that, we live in a carb loaded society.
Mm-hmm.
We eat too many processed food. There's this wonderful saying, we're overfed but undernourished. We're eating, but we're not getting proper nutrients for our bodies. And I think that whole don't eat fat makes you fat, and it was taken out of our mainstream eating. Everybody started eating too many carbs, and then we see people getting overweight. We have a horrible obesity issue in North America, and unless you are moving your body, there is no way that you need those types of food, the white breads, the white rice, the white pasta. It's great if you're moving every day and working out like a fiend, but even then there are better choices. And so I see people gaining around their gut, gaining like I guess I look at it from a female point of view and a middle-aged woman, and it's frustrating and it's hard, but we've been taught the wrong things, and it's hard to change our way of thinking and doing little actions over a long period. I've been on my health journey my whole life, and every year I learn more, and um, I'm at the point where I want to share that information and help people, and I know that we can make a difference. So yeah, I want to help people who are struggling and just give them the tools they need to get on the right, to kick off or reset their body.
Well, so many across, I call it our colleague group of USANA have been doing that around the world, right? With different cultures,
Yeah.
Introducing, the concept of low glycemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Optimal supplementation, the whole thing of intelligence and cell signaling, where the cells can speak with one another and start to perform at an optimal level and perform in a way to provide optimal immune support, right? Through a whole process that's beyond me, because
Yeah, you just mentioned that intelligence like that. Uh, People will say, I'll just buy my jug of pills at, I think you said at the dollar store, they even sell vitamins. I can't believe that. Uh, there's a difference of supplements out there, and the reason being it's either the raw materials that they use, these good manufacturing practice, what's on the labels in the label. But you mentioned something about cells talking to one another, and like
yeah.
yes,
So it's in I have a quick video. It takes about a minute. Let me just share it. It's just layman's term. I'm not going into the science, not going into all that sort of stuff, but it will just speak to what intelligence is.
okay.
It's nature. Okay. Here's the whole thing. It's nature. It's what takes place in us already, but it gets triggered, and triggered today is a real confusing term these days.
I have triggers. Just watch it.
Yeah,
Just
that's
video.
But the whole thing about cell signaling, it is this communication that takes place throughout the body. You know it. Everybody on here today knows it. I mean, look, you walk up a set of stairs. There's a reason why your respiration increases, why the heart rate increases, why if you're going a long way, perspiration may break out. It's all these signals that are taking place. You're not giving it conscious thought to, but there are signals that are going on. It's the same thing that takes place when you sleep, and your liver regenerates itself, and the kidneys go to work even more, and your brain rejuvenates itself. It's all these other things that take place in exercise. It is removal of lactic acid that's taken place. Those things that give you those cramps. You ever get those Charlie horses? That's lactic acid, right? All those things. It's all these signals that go on. But as we go through our life and we ingest all kinds of things, as I always say, if you're on that diet of Mountain Dew and Twinkies, you're probably going to have a problem. Right?
Yeah.
If your favorite food groups and your three major food groups are McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Kentucky Fried Chicken, you're probably going to have a bit of an issue, because the signals, the things that you're bringing into your body on a continual basis starts to degrade that signaling a little bit. So this company that Angela and I and other folks that are on here are, represent, we're very proud and honored to, because what it does is they continue to pour the research and development into the science of the human condition. That's it. That's all we want. What do we want to live? We want to live with vigor and vitality. And they they discovered They didn't invent it. They literally discovered it. Okay. It was already in nature. They brought it together, but a way in which even the patent offices have just come down recently and says it provides a pathway for optimal lifespans. Got it? Optimal lifespans. What's that mean? Live longer in a higher state of vigor and vitality. That's what optimal lifespans are. Let me see if I can figure out how to share this video. If you guys will just bear with me. Yeah, because it should only be about a minute, but I am going to do this. I think this is it. I think I can do it here. I think I can do it here.
Your body is comprised of billions of diverse cells whose jobs vary from creating your vital organs to producing the energy you need to keep moving throughout the day. They do this by sending information through fast communication networks known as cell signaling pathways. Everything you eat contains nutrients that act as molecular messengers, transferring instructions along these pathways to your cells. By isolating key nutrients, you can tap into your body's natural ability to send and receive information and create a specific response within your cells. This is the power of USANA intelligence technology. Using scientifically developed blends of nutrients and plant extracts that target these distinct pathways to boost the signals that activate important health benefits, like improved mental clarity, a more robust immune response, and better defense against oxidative stress. This groundbreaking technology delivers exactly what your body needs to activate its natural adaptive abilities, redefining what it means to live a happy, healthy life. Start today by customizing your health routine with targeted nutrition featuring intelligence technology. Only from USANA.
Well, you always impress me with your knowledge, Richard, and your exercise physiology is way above mine, and I usually learn something every time I talk to you, so thank you for that.
Well, and you're welcome, but I think you've experienced it all.
Yeah,
I do believe you have. I mean, think about it. At the end of the day, targeted technology came together, and I don't know if it's a combination of the cell essentials and the proflavanol, right? Or if it's a combination of the proflavanol hypercharged the cell essentials, or the cell essentials, optimize the proflavanol. Doesn't really matter.
I don't care. It works.
That's the deal. That's right. I don't, and that's the deal. So if anybody's got any questions for Angela, if you've got any comments, go ahead, put them right in the comment field. It'll come up. We'll be able to, as I always call it, let's go straight to the person who's experienced this and ask away or ask a question or put in a comment or do whatever you want to, because I tell you what, not often do we get to hear from a highly, highly trained athlete, now retired teacher, still coach out there, making a world of difference to the people and still experiencing her USANA difference. So any questions out there? If not, we'll certainly end this, but I do
everybody who's on the call for their time and taking their time to listen. And if there's any way I can help, I'd love to.
Well,
anything showing up there, Richard?
I don't see anything coming. No, they would show up on here, but I do not see. There we go. No. Okay. Well, then with that in mind, we will, I think we're right coming up on half an hour. So I tell everybody it should take about half an hour. That's it. Now people can go on with their evening. I hope it.
Time thing.
And anything you'd like to leave with, Angela? Any advice you'd like to give anybody? Any just couple last words of your wisdom?
Your health is in your control. I think once you find people to help you, once you use high quality supplementation and change little things over a period of time and be consistent with it, you can feel better. You have that control. That's my belief, and I would love to share it with everyone. That's my retirement plan.
Well, it seems like Wendy says, well done, Ange.
Thanks, Wendy. It's my sister.
There you go. How wonderful. There you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it. All right, everybody. Well, enjoy your evening. That's the end of this second episode of Think Health. And thank you, Angela. And thank you for your time. It's been wonderful. All right. Take care, everybody. Be well.
Be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.